Hi everybody, Canadian Treasure Hunter here. I got a special guest today on my campsite. YouTuber, scrapper, goes by Cruiser Mac. He'll be in my campsite. He agreed to do an interview with me. Real glad to meet him in person. Truly nice guy, a real good YouTuber and a scrapper. So stand by for the interview. Stay tuned. I've got Cruiser Mac in my campsite here. I got a few questions to ask. Jerry? Okay, Jerry,
Yep.
I was going to ask you, so what's your channel all about? Tell us a little bit of information.
About everything, hunting, fishing, scrapping, a little bit. I don't do a huge amount of scrapping. I've explained it a few times in the videos. Like here, they don't pay anything for scrap metal. But where I work, we get wire and stuff like that. I work for an electrical contractor. So sometimes what I'll do is we usually sell the scrap wire just for our beer fund and stuff like that. But if I got time, I'll skin it out and everything, get a little better price for it. So, I like to do welding and mechanical stuff. That's kind of what my channel is about. Just kind of random stuff that I like doing.
Well, that sounds exciting there.
Yep.
DIY, do it all kind of thing, right?
You bet, yeah.
Those are awesome channels. That's what I kind of like getting into myself. So how long you been a scrapper for? What was the scrapping like? What got you into scrapping? How long you been scrapping
Well, like
for?
say, I've been an electrician my whole life there. So we've all, electricians.
Whole life is what, 20 years or?
No, I've been an electrician for 45 years.
45 years.
Yeah.
So you're only like what, 40?
Yeah. I wish. Yeah, I just turned the numbers around. You're pretty close there. But yeah, I got into that right out of high school. That's the only job I've ever had.
I was gonna say you look about maybe at the most 50.
Yeah, no, 64. Yeah,
okay,
just turned 64.
Well, you're in good shape. Must be like the fresh air, the wilderness.
Yeah, it's
the
a good
beautiful
climate here.
The climate's good and dry, right?
Pretty good beer here too. So.
Out in Vancouver, we rust. We get old fast, right?
Yeah, I worked down there too, off and on. So.
Awesome. Okay, so I guess we know you're an electrician. That was my other question there, 9 to 5. So that's awesome. So for scrapping, what's the hardest item that you scrap, but it's really good for money, but you still have to scrap it because if you sell dirty, that's, you're getting robbed.
I did one video where I was scrapping that tech cable. You know that industrial tech cable?
Oh, yeah, that really big one.
So there's a lot, like the yards pay nothing for that stuff, just because there's an outer coating that's plastic, and you've got the aluminum layer, and then you've got another layer of plastic. So that's a bit more time consuming. So if you just take like a bundle of tech to the yard, they'll give you like 70 cents.
So it's clean, that's what, about a pound a foot or so? Or
not clean, like the bigger stuff, most of it's number one, right? So, take the time to clean it off. Here you won't get much, but not where you're at. The last batch I took out, I got about 280 for it, something like that.
Oh yeah, but when you clean the tech cable, like per foot, what is the weight of the foot?
Oh, like some of it could be like easily a pound a foot.
Yeah, so that's big industrial
sawmills
and high voltage, right?
Yeah, you'll have like usually have 3 wires in it.
So was that like a 3,000 volt wire? What would it be classified?
1,000 volt wire. Yeah.
1,000 watt?
Yeah, 1,000 volt.
1,000 volts. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are some of your favorite YouTube channels?
Well, I like your channel, of course.
Okay, I appreciate that, kid. Yeah.
Canadian Treasure Hunter, that's one of the best.
Yeah.
Actually, the ones I mainly watch are for whatever reason, I like the scrapping channels like Scrap Life 24/7. I watch
yeah.
There were Bert Horton there and Scrap Pallet Man, those kind of guys there.
Oh yeah, they got good old channels.
Yeah, I like the smaller channels better because it's more, I don't know, it's not so much commercialized. Like a lot of the guys that used to follow in the past, just various channels, I kind of got away from them just because they're like so heavily commercialized. They're just, in it for the money right now.
Well, it's just elements of making money also, but it's still a hobby, right?
Oh, yeah.
And time is money in general, right? Yeah. It's either you toss your 9 to 5 job or you do YouTube full time. So you have
it's like I was saying
somewhat
last
of choice.
If you have like 100,000 subscribers, that's pretty well a full-time job there.
Yeah, like it sure is definitely a full-time job. Even for me, I've been lacking my 9 to 5 job trying to do my videos. Yeah. And it's like, I need sleep. I need to get, energy for my next video. And then I'm losing sometimes clients.
Yeah, like I get up pretty early in the morning. I usually get up about 4 in the morning there. So then I'll... once I'm ready to work, I'll pop on YouTube and check there, and I'll see that you've posted like midnight or 2 in the morning or something.
3 o'clock. Well, the scenario is I'm in kind of bed while I'm loading a video, and then sometimes it takes sometimes 2-3 hours to load something, right?
Yeah.
So I'll sit on the couch with my cat on my arm.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, like 6 in the morning, boom, can put my video on.
Yeah.
Get all my European viewers satisfied. So how long are you making YouTube videos for?
I've actually been on YouTube for quite a while. I think since 2012,
but actually making the videos.
About that time.
2012.
Yeah, so originally I started. I bought a bunch of metalworking stuff. So when you want to learn how to do anything, you go on YouTube. So I subscribed to a bunch of the metalworking guys there. So I started making, you know, I have a lathe and milling machine and welders and all that kind of stuff on there. So I started making some videos of stuff I was doing, but the problem is like you know, most of those guys are like professional machinists or professional welders and stuff like that. So anything you build at home is kind of ridiculous.
Hey man, we gotta start somewhere, right? It's always.
So yeah, I started doing that. I didn't put too many out. Then I kind of lost interest in it. But beginning of this year, I started doing it again. So you know, I managed to get up to 2,000 and some subscribers.
Yeah, well, that's great. That's excellent. Yeah. So do you have any other hobbies besides, you know, your standard fishing and all that? Do you have other hobbies in general?
Well, like say fishing and hunting and mechanical stuff, and you know.
Nothing like treasure hunting or
well,
coin
actually, I
stamps?
like antiques and garage sales and stuff.
Okay,
like
yeah,
that
that's
too.
kind of
I
a cool thing.
Stuff,
Yeah. Get the man cave all decorated.
Yeah,
with
that's right. Yeah, I got all my junk in
nice
there.
signs and collectibles, right?
Yeah, I gotta fix that up. I'm gonna renovate that a bit because I got a whole bunch of like World War II posters and stuff like that. And all framed.
Original posters?
Oh yeah.
What kind are they?
I got some Canadian ones which are really hard to get, and I got some American ones which are easier to get.
Oh really? Oh, cool.
Yeah. That's why I wanted that poster, that Viet Cong one.
Oh, you wanted that? Okay, yeah.
What did you end
no.
up getting for that
I can't remember. Maybe $50, maybe.
Oh,
I think.
Yeah, I really wanted to go to that sale there, but
it's a good
I
show.
had it all marked out. But then, of course, it never fails. Something came up that Friday or something like
I do
that.
once a year. That show's a good show.
Yeah, it's definitely worth going to.
So now, do you have any special plans for your YouTube channel in the future, upcoming, or what do you want to do to your channel to make it improve it?
Just keep going. You know, as long as you enjoy it there.
Just start,
that's
constant
another
input.
kind of a hobby there.
Yeah, like the more stuff you put on, the more audience you get, right?
Yeah.
And like I say, you don't be scared of putting something other than your normal, right?
Yeah, like I say, I just, you know.
I seen a house fire down the road one day, right?
Yeah. Actually, I got another one of that forest fire down.
Right.
I got that one. I got a few I got to upload, but I went fishing there down the coast there, and I was away about 5 days. And when you come back, you're 10 days behind, so I haven't had much time lately.
Yeah, I watch channels on YouTube where guys are, cleaning lobsters and they're on a beach and everything, and they got like 1 million views.
Oh yeah.
Right, I mean, not everybody knows how to, say even got to fish properly, right?
Yeah.
Or cook a fish, or your own secrets, right? Maybe do recipes and.
Yeah, we went into Tassus. You know where Tassus is? It's on the west coast of the island.
Okay.
It's a beautiful country over there. So I took a bunch of the videos from the boat and everything. We're going out to fishing. And the problem is I needed a GoPro. I had that GoPro before, but it died on me, so I was just using my cell phone. Yeah. But it was so rough when we're out there.
Yeah. No, you need the head mounted. This is the cube, the 5-session cube.
Yeah.
You can't buy this one no more. This one's press on and go. Simple.
Yeah. The one I had was 4 or 5 here, but it just died on me.
Yeah, that's too bad. So what are some of your favorite scrap items to take apart?
Well, like say cable and stuff, because that's the easiest.
Yeah, strip and wire and stuff. But
actually, I started to like, we have a lot of old light fixtures and stuff like that. We don't keep them. I was just taking them up to the junkyard.
Yeah, exactly.
The guy doesn't even want them anymore. He's taking his bin off the street and everything. So I just thought, well, I might as well take them apart. A lot of them have aluminum housings and they've got dowels in them and stuff like that. So take a little time. So I just save that stuff up, and then the next time I go to Vancouver for something, I'll just take it down with me there.
Oh yeah, great. So what about your say the next 5 years? What's your goals for YouTube and scrapping? Do you plan to retire? Like, do you think YouTube could be a full-time job one day for you?
Yeah, it'd be nice if it could be.
Well, I mean, I see people do it all the time, right? I mean, guys are constantly making a living anyways. They're not getting rich, but unless you're PewDiePie or someone like that, right? Or Mr. Beast.
Yeah, I was thinking about retaring next year, but I don't think I will there, because it's like anything else. If you enjoy what you're doing there, it's not.
Well, I can work harder scrapping versus working harder for someone else. The thing is, when you enjoy something, it's not working no more. Yeah, it's fun, right? Fun is fun, and
So I like to work, so I'm going to keep working for a few more years. But yeah, like I say, I want to just I kind of develop better videos. Every time you see it there, you think, I could have done that better. And there's so much into the editing and everything.
Editing takes time, and all these big channels, they got they have a production behind them. A lot of people not aware of that. They think it's one guy doing it all. One guy can't do it all.
No, they have actually production.
When they have actual good budget, they're making lots of money. They have their own editing guys, their own film guys, their whole team, a whole network of teams.
Yeah, it's funny. Right? One of the channels I subscribe to, and he's got, I don't know, a couple 100,000 subscribers, and he mentioned that one time that he was changing production companies, right? I never thought of it till then. It dawned on me. Wait,
a
bunch of guys filming all this shit.
And like I say, so now what do you think about YouTube seeing, like I say, too much late night show and movies and Like, I kind of like it where it's homemade entertainment,
Yeah,
right?
that's why I like it too. Like
Yeah.
I like reality shows and stuff like that.
Like most reality shows are staged.
Yeah.
Everything that you see, like the gold shows and all the treasure shows, everything's staged.
Yeah, even the
arguments are staged.
Yeah.
The breakdowns are staged. Everything,
the
right?
storage lockers. They put
Yeah,
the stuff
exactly.
in
They
there
put
ahead of
stuff in
time.
there. They get a generic storage locker,
Yeah.
and they put in one good item in the whole locker. They bid back and forth. My channel, like you say, your channel, it's, we're not taking 10 cuts, right?
Yeah.
It's like, I make a mistake, we're filming it, right?
Yeah.
That's part of reality. Reality is that's what it is. I see when guys do videos and they have like, their face moves like 20 times, like in 1 minute they have 10 or 15 cuts.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean,
Yeah, I try to do it all in one shot. Like I'll have a few notes down there just to remember what you want to talk about.
basic notes, and when we're taking things apart, I mean, it's kind of like almost like learning.
Yeah.
Because I don't know where every screw is.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of times brute force is the easiest way, right?
Yeah, well, it takes me back to when I was a kid. There, I used to love taking things apart.
Yeah, it's smashing,
I've
right?
never grown out of that. So
I remember as a kid, my dad had all these big radio tubes, like
Yeah.
the huge, humongous tubes.
Yeah.
We'd throw them, and they'd be like bombs.
Yeah.
And my dad would be freaking out because some of those tubes are $100 tubes, and we're talking 30 years ago, just smashing them, right? But
Yeah.
anyways, that's fun of scrapping.
Oh,
like,
yeah. Used to drive my parents crazy too. You get a bicycle, next thing you know, the bicycle's in 20 pieces there.
yeah. So maybe you could tell me some of the scrap prices around here. Like, what is tin worth? Shred tin.
You can't give it away. They won't even.
They don't buy it here.
They won't take it.
So is that all of Okanagan?
Pretty much, yeah. There's a bigger yard up in Kelowna. I think it's ABC. They're the same as the ones on
Okay.
the coast there. So I checked there.
Well, they pay for tin.
They were paying about $40, but that's before it went down. So I suspect they're not even.
Because at last I got 130.
Yeah.
But see, all they're doing is they're taking your metal and trucking to
Yeah.
the West Coast, and because they can put what 20 tons into a truck.
20 or 30 tons easy.
Yeah, so they're making money.
Oh yeah.
They
yeah,
could
because
easily
every
pay.
time I go to the coast, there's always flat necks with the cubes. And
To compress it all, right?
Yeah.
So cubes 2,000 pounds, right?
Yeah.
So they could afford to pay. They could pay.
Yeah,
But they're just greedy, I think, a little bit. Some of the scrap yards.
yeah, like say the guy I used to just drop it off. He used to have a bin outside there, but he doesn't even do that anymore. He said he was going.
So what about like copper? Like how is copper?
Copper here. Like if you number one bright and shiny right now, you'd probably get. You wouldn't get $2. You'd probably get 180, something like that.
So bright shine is really low, right?
Yeah. Here.
I think last time I heard the bright shiny might have been around 270.
Yeah. Yeah, like
Not
say
too long
last,
ago.
when I went down to the coast, I just went as far as Mission, but they gave me 280 there in Mission.
Yeah.
But,
Well, I know just in the last couple weeks we have a lot of drops.
Yeah.
Like major drops, like 20-cent drops. So I think the future copper is to hold on.
Yeah.
Right? Wait till the new election, basically. If we get 4 more years of Trump, that means, we're going to have to be, our price is going to be really low.
But like say the metals that are in demand is copper and aluminum because all the electric cars, solar stuff, everything uses that.
Yeah, copper, brass, and aluminum is more common, right? It's
Yeah.
everywhere. Everybody uses it for everything.
Yeah,
It's a lightweight metal. It's well used. It's big demand always, right? That's why you can find it everywhere.
Yeah.
It's the most common metal than tin. Like you find it with tin all the time, right?
Yeah, actually, I've got a bunch of fixtures that was taken apart, but they're actually zinc there.
But I get the same price.
Same price, eh?
Well, it's actually it's pot metal, zinc, die cast.
Yeah, just call it pot.
It's a combination, right? I got the same price as a sheet, old sheet.
Okay.
Yeah. So you get a big old lamp, and the lamp's like 15, 20 pounds.
Yeah.
The old-fashioned lamps that are heavy. Yeah, I took a few apart.
Yeah, because we get a lot of these old door because like everything we're changing over. Anytime you replace fixture, you put an LED one in it, so you end up with these old heavy HID fixtures. They got ballast in them. And pot metal housings.
So you can get a lot of scrap then, yeah.
Yep. So I just before I was just checking that stuff out, but now I'm just gonna stockpile it, and then like say when I make a trip to the coast, I'll just drop it off.
Okay. Okay. Anyways, so I think that's any other. You have any questions for me before we conclude on this?
A few there. Well, how's your brother Joe?
Lazy as hell. He only comes when he needs.
Makes a good sidekick though.
When he needs money, he'll call me. Hey, I need some money. When he needs 40, 50 bucks, okay, it'll work. But then I got to do the work myself. So then everybody on YouTube will say, "Why are you bugging the guy? Why are you making him do all the work?" Well, if I'm paying the guy, of course. So that now my strategy is to do one load at a time.
Oh yeah.
And then be on top of my loads and save money because, I can't do 3 loads in one shot myself, right? So. Unreliable help, put it that way.
Oh yeah. So
right?
is he older than you or younger than you?
He's about 4 or 5 years older.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
he's a little older. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people comment though. I guess he's a cool looking guy. So.
Well, he's a good brother. Nothing wrong with him, but it's just it's all about like business, right? When it comes to friends and family, business is business, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
If I cater to all my brothers and family, I have also another brother.
Yeah.
Who I brought into the scene.
Yeah.
He's a good brother and a few addiction problems, right? But he's kind of trying to get himself clear, But
yeah, well, as long as the family gets.
But the thing is, he's younger than me, but he looks 3 times older than me, right? He looks older than you.
Yeah, that's right.
And he's only like he's born in '69.
Oh yeah.
See, that's a toll of drugs. It takes effect on
Yeah.
your body, right?
Yeah.
But anyways, that's
I've got some relatives like that.
it's too bad, right? You try to help people, but you cannot give money. You can give food.
Yeah.
Food, or even if I gave him like computers and stuff, where's the stuff go, right? So.
Yeah, I had a good friend of mine. He actually died that way. And,
yeah, it's sad. Like
I just tried to help. Everybody did the best they could.
Yeah, you could do all you could do is try to help, and hopefully, eventually, he'll find his issues. But so anyways,
so how'd you get into the asbestos abatement or asbestos removal?
Well, I was in Demolition, say 20 years ago, and that time they were testing houses, and houses were asbestos. It was kind of a gray area, right? So I got to the testing part, doing the removal. We used to have 3 crews going, but it's just the red tape, the headaches, work safe, and got to a point where it's just I rather make less money without the headaches, right? You make all this money, but it all goes to bills, and it's what's left anyways, right? Nothing. So.
Yeah, I know, because when I know what was the threshold before percentage of asbestos?
Well, anything over 1%, or it's actually now any product at 0.5% or higher is asbestos.
Because I know we used to run into that in our industry quite a bit, where they go in and tarp it all off.
Yeah.
So I said to one of the guys one day, I said, "Well, you must just about have a handle on this." So, oh no, he says, "We're gonna have lots of work because they dropped the percentage way down."
Yeah, but in actual fact, is any house in 1990 or older is gonna have some asbestos issues.
Yeah.
And that will be lead paint also. Lead paint will be the newest.
Okay.
Like in the States, lead paint is already a big deal, right?
Yeah.
Here it's a kind of a so-so area, but it will be everything. It'll be just as bad.
So here, what they're doing a lot, I don't know if you drove around town a lot, but a lot of the old wartime houses and stuff like that.
Yeah, they're all siding, yeah.
Yes, but they're sitting on big lots. So what the guys have been doing is they buy them flat in the house, and then they build a duplex or a fourplex.
Oh yeah.
But now, like, they've got to have that asbestos all abated before they do it. And it's like an old house is like 30 grand to have it done here, anyways.
Yeah, but here it's probably expensive, but back home it got to a point where there were so many cheaters and stuff, and prices were so low, and the good companies couldn't compete, right?
So what you find here is guys will buy them, and then they find out it's going to cost them 30 grand to do the asbestos. And the next day the thing will burn down mysteriously. So.
The problem is when it's burnt, it's even costing more money because now it's special waste.
Oh yeah.
It's saying siding only, asbestos.
Right? Yeah.
Then now all the materials is asbestos contaminated.
Yeah.
So the cost could be actually 3 times more. Right? You can't burn asbestos anyways. You may look black and everything's still there.
Yeah.
Right? But yeah, it's kind of a job. Like I say, I'm more into doing the inspections now. That's what most.
So like us, we go into buildings and everything, we've got to be careful if we're drilling holes and stuff like that. Like things like every commercial building and everything's supposed to have a report on there whether it has asbestos in it.
So I would treat any 1990 or older. Take a precaution.
Yeah, well, it's like that zone light there. It's in every block building around here. We used to knock a hole in the wall, let it all run out, sweep it up.
Yeah, I remember kids breaking walls at schools. And the whole, all of a sudden you see this, 5 garbage bags full of material just laying around because it goes in a block wall from the top to the bottom, right? So you might have 10-foot high wall and it's all full.
Yeah,
right?
People never used to worry about that stuff.
Yeah, that's years ago,
I don't know what's the percentage in that, though.
It's 1 to 3%. It's a low percentage, but it's a friable, it's dust, right? Most of the dust you see is the material itself.
Yeah.
Right? So the percentage is low. I mean, like it's like smoking, right? I mean, how many people die from smoking?
Yeah.
People die heart attacks, car accidents. I mean,
that's like in the old days, those sectional boilers, like they used to.
Oh yeah, that kind of stuff was bad. Yeah.
So then the plumbers used to insulate that. So they put a big piece of plywood in the middle of the floor. They dump the bags of asbestos there. They put water in it. They trowel it all just like mud.
Yeah, anything like boilers, pipe insulation. Yeah. Like the Trade Center, for instance, when that blew down, that was the worst asbestos around. That stuff you can't put down with water.
Oh, yeah.
That's all fireproofing. And then when that buildings collapsed 10 years later, they had the really high like lung cancer rate, and he said it's not related. Well, obviously it's a cover-up, right? But that had every column and every beam was insulated with asbestos.
Yeah, fireproofing,
Like it was probably a, you know, it was probably the demo costs more money than anything, right? Now it's all in the garbage, right?
Yeah, it was probably the output of a whole asbestos mine, that building.
Oh yeah, there was a lot in there, but anyways, a different subject, yeah. So
yeah, you enjoying the area though so far?
Yeah, I've been up here. I've been like I say, I've been camping since I was probably like 18.
Oh yeah.
I used to camp in Soyuz and Penticton. Kelowna, we used to drive to Kelowna just to kind of check it out.
Yep.
Yeah, I used to have go-karts there.
Yep.
And you had the Formula 1 type cars.
Yep.
Is that still there?
No, that's long gone there. There's, what's in there now? I think there's a car dealership or something in there. So. Yeah, actually, years and years ago, my mom used to own all that property in there.
Oh.
She sold it for nothing there.
Yeah, now it should be sitting on millions of dollars.
Yeah.
But yeah, I find it's too commercialized now.
Yeah.
So you're coming down here, the old feel, like the old time camping, and the old feel, like this is not bad here, but like a Soyuz is just not the same.
Yeah, it's pretty popular, so as people come from all over.
But there's a lot of condos going up now.
Yeah.
Same with Penticton. If you look behind me, and there's condos going everywhere.
Yeah, we've had a pretty big condo boom. A lot of residential going here, not too much.
But that's, you know, so where else you can camp really, right? Safely, right?
Yeah, the campgrounds like this are kind of
yeah, if this one goes, I mean, what's around here, right? Because I mean, this is probably worth $10-20 million. This land here, right? So, you know, people don't realize it's just, they think it's a bunch of trees and stuff, but no, the land is worth incredible amounts.
And like we were saying, the unfortunate part is they got to pay taxes based on that too.
Well, you said that, yeah. So
it makes it pretty hard for these guys.
So if they're paying taxes on, say, you know, $10 million of land, you know, the campsite may not cover it, huh?
Yeah.
Right. Same with me. Like, I like to buy a storage yard, but a cheaper storage yard that would suit me is $1 million.
Yeah.
There's not enough scrap that I'm getting to pay the payments or bills, right? So that's why I use my scrap yard, and I use also my property.
Yeah.
You know, otherwise you can't do it. The cost of living on the West Coast is incredibly expensive.
Yeah, so you know, it's nice to live down. I've worked off and on down there, but I mean, right now it's just. I say the last 10 years, it's just got totally unaffordable area.
What about to buy houses out here?
We're right in Penticton now. You could buy.
It's like a 3-bedroom, 2-level house, 2,000 square feet.
Yeah, you can buy a nice house, real nice house for $800,000.
Yeah, so you're looking, it's getting high.
Yeah. Then you look, you know, just as you're coming down the hill, all those new houses up on the hill there, that's all native land there.
Okay. Is that leased land? Leased land?
Leased land,
okay.
Yeah. I think they're 30-year leases, I'm not sure. But anyway, all those up there are like $800,000-$900,000 on leased land.
So maybe in a couple of years now, they're $1 million homes, everything, right?
Yeah.
It's like Vancouver, cheapest house is, I would say, $900,000 to $1 million now. It's just... And that's just junk, and that's land. That's never mind a house. You're talking about a good livable house for $800,000.
Yeah.
You know, we're talking about a piece of land, 33 by 100 or something, 120, and that's $1 million.
Yeah, you're buying $1 million fixer-upper.
Yeah. So, and then you know we get dinged with really high insurance, property tax.
Yeah.
Like everything's expensive, right?
Yeah.
So,
fuels, 20 cents a liter.
Yeah, we're paying for a guy riding a SkyTrainer driving a bus, which is stupid, right? You know, we're not riding buses, but we got to pay for the bussers, you know. Yeah. So, anyways, this is part of Canada. It's a nice place to live, but
it comes up with price.
Taxes are high, right? And you can never make enough money to justify, you know, all these different taxes.
Yeah, unless you're in the ultra high level. Or...
No, even if you made $1 million a year, you know, you'd probably pay half taxes.
Oh, easy, yeah.
So you pay half taxes, and then you're still paying taxes over taxes. So, you know, what are you actually making? You know, it comes to a point. It's just really expensive.
Yeah, that's why it's not as cheap up here, but that's why in the past a lot of people moved in here because the housing used to be cheap.
Well, what people did is they lived in the mainland, retired, came up here. They took their house for $500,000. They bought a dream home here for $200,000-$300,000 at a time, and then now you can't do it no more because
it's not equal, but it's starting to equalize.
Yeah, but like for retirement, people like a dryer because I guess if you have arthritis, it's better on your body. There's some better. You know, better advantages here. It's nice. You don't get much snow here too often.
Not too much. You know,
more dry than anything, right?
Yeah, it's more dry than anything. Like I say, winter's only 2-3 months at most.
Yeah.
So that's pretty nice. Yeah, it's not a bad spot to live.
Yeah, it's awesome. I enjoy coming here. I usually come at least once a year. Home sweet home, right?
Yeah.
I don't think I would want to live here, to be honest. I like to visit. I like to treasure hunt and do my thing, but I kind of like to be on the go all the time.
Yeah.
I like California. It's nice going down south, and You know, I have interest in treasure hunting, gold panning, or
Yeah.
you know, that's my interest is just mobile. Even sitting in here for 3 days, it's like I'm landlocked. It's just
Yeah. Do you do much bottle hunting anymore? Can you still do that?
just the sites have been all taken over. There's nothing new popping up, and if there was a construction site going on, it had a potential.
Yeah.
They'll put cameras everywhere. As soon as you go in there, obviously no one gives you permission for liability.
Yeah.
So if you jumped the fence, for instance, trying to get in there to dig a bottle, you'd be kind of handcuffed, basically, and harassed and kicked out, right? So the good old days, like 20 years ago, where you could dig anywhere, construction sites, they're long gone.
Yeah, I used to do that too. So I got I still have my bottle collection in the basement.
Oh, you do have a bottle collection,
oh,
huh?
Yeah.
You have ginger beers and different things,
Yeah,
or?
stuff like a few, not a huge.
Oh,
one, but
okay.
I got some, yeah.
So where'd you dig bottles? Around here?
Yeah, we used to be some old dumps up here, and we used to dig those out.
I know there's a rare one out of Kamloops, Dobson and Coley Cup ginger
yeah.
beer.
Yeah.
I had one of those. They're really rare.
Yeah, I got a few of those, but they're so
Yeah.
expensive now to buy.
Oh yeah, some of them are $3,000 to $5,000.
Oh, yeah.
Some of them.
Yeah, this
they're
guy
really high
has an
ones.
auction every year of those there from all across Canada.
Yeah.
The Canadian ones are really expensive.
Yeah, yeah. There's so many rare ones out there for sure. You know.
Actually, my mom too, she used to collect fruit jars, the old fruit jars.
Okay, yeah.
So when she passed away, I've got her collection. Of
The
fruit
beavers
jars.
and all that,
Yeah,
and
I've got crowns, beavers. I've
beehives and
yeah, I've got all that stuff. Yeah.
star. You have the different stars.
Yeah, you name it, I've got it. I got some of the rare, like the amber.
Oh, the ambers.
and stuff
How many
like
jars do you have?
that. Probably a couple hundred, something like that.
So you got a hobby that you didn't even know you had a
Yeah.
hobby, right? See?
Yeah, I don't have enough room. Problem is, I don't have enough room to display all
Yeah,
that
no,
stuff.
no.
So I got it all
The jar
packed
market,
in.
to be honest, has really dropped out.
Yeah.
The jars were big about 15 years ago. They're
Yeah.
really hot.
Yeah.
Like there was like the cornets and different things,
Yeah, oh, yeah,
right?
yeah.
They're all different sizes. They're going for like $500 for a pair, right?
Yeah.
And I think the prices like at anything. Same with insulators, right? Insulators are
Yeah.
big. I remember at a flea market, a guy says, "Yeah, I got to find out what this threadless insulator is worth." And I said, "I know about insulators." So he wanted $500 for it. It was a Tillotson.
Yeah.
Came off the old telegraph line. Ended up buying for $500.
Yeah.
Buy, turn around, sell for $1,000. Like a few weeks later, a month later, and he ended up selling for $1,500
Yeah.
American after.
Yeah.
So it kind of went up the ladder, and everybody made $1. But it was somewhere near Spuzham. It was a dome was sitting out of the dirt. He kicked it and dug it out. It was insulators. So
Yeah.
insulators were big money. I'll tell
They
you.
don't. People don't want them anymore. I find. I got some, but they
Well,
don't.
no, Americans, good ones. Yeah.
that right?
Oh yeah. You have
Yeah.
rare ones, colored ones.
Yeah, I got
Rare
some,
colors are
I got
big
some of
dollars.
I don't have a huge amount. Maybe
No.
I got about 10, 15. I've got some of the color ones. I got some of the porcelain ones. And
Yeah.
I've got some like CPR.
I remember digging one in where's it, Titusville or somewhere in Pennsylvania, and it was patented in 1878 or something, 1871. It was a little amethyst color one, really fairly rare. It only booked around maybe 1,500, but we ended up 2,800 US for it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And that guy sold for around 3,500 US. Yeah, that auction catalog. It was one of those insulators that are kind of rare, but weren't recognized to be rare, and it ended up getting good money for it.
Yeah,
It was
mine
years
are kind
ago.
of
We're talking over 20 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, the ones I got are more in the garage sale, $5 ones.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. So you're into bottles too. That's kind of cool.
bottles, jars. Yeah, I used to enjoy that. When you could actually still dig them. Actually, what I found too is we were in Victoria one time doing some work in a gas station, and they were digging out the tanks.
Yeah.
So they got into a big patch of them. So if you were working there, the guy was bringing out a big scoop every time he'd dump it. So we'd all go, sort through them there, see which ones we could.
That's the good old days. Yeah, we used to dig. I remember digging one site. I was working for the company, and the guy would dig bottles, and he would just shake the bucket for me, and I get ginger beers and like rare bottles. Like we're $200-300, right? Expensive bottles.
Yeah.
And I said, "You want some bottles?" He said, "No, I don't want bottles. I can drink beer." Yeah. So I brought the guy 2-4. Sometimes beer is worth more than anything to these guys, right?
Yeah, that's why Vancouver, Victoria are better because they're the population goes back a long ways. Like here, this area was still up about I think 1875, 1880. There was virtually nobody living here.
Yeah, I think there was still there was roadhouses. There was probably where's the nearest fort that was around here?
Actually, I saw an old map. I was up in Quesnel one time, and they had a really old map there, and one of the few cities actually, Beachland was on that map.
Okay.
And then I forget Kamloops, but there wasn't really much of that.
Yeah,
stuff.
I think there was Hope Fort. Fort was okay. There was Langley. There was Hope.
Yeah.
I think there was also Kamloops had a fort. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They kind of bypassed this area. They didn't come down.
Yeah, but there was wagon roads, wagon trails. There was there was famous like ranches too. I think
Yeah.
if you drive in the interior, there's a lot of history here.
Oh yeah, yeah.
There's history here, but like small population, not
Yeah,
like big
yeah, just-
population.
Yeah, so there wasn't the
Yeah.
volume of stuff.
So you didn't have
here.
like, you may have a few bottles. They weren't color like embossed or
Yeah.
fancy. Probably just cheap labels.
Yeah.
Or recycled bottles, right?
Yeah.
If we had a big population like England, for instance.
Yeah.
I mean, every town had their own ginger beers, their own pops. That's why it's thousands in England, right?
Yeah, that's where I'd love to go digging in England sometime.
Yeah, England would
They
be a
get some
place.
amazing
Even
stuff.
treasure hunting there
Yeah.
would be great, right?
Yeah, those guys are out in the middle of the field there, and they find that stuff 2,000 years old there.
Well, yeah, they're finding gold hoards, right?
I guess the deal is there. If you find it, you got to give it to the government, then the government will tell you.
Yeah,
okay, it's
basically, you make a deal with the landowner, and it's some sort of contract. You make a 50-50 kind of contract, and anything that's, I guess, over 60 years, you have to show it to coroners or someone in the government there, or museum or whatever they're called, and they'll authenticate it and determine if it's a treasure or they'll give back to you. So if it's worth £5,000, they give back to you. You have to entitled to give the homeowner half, or buy him out to an extent where he's happy, right?
Yeah.
Like he may want the coin for himself and buy you out. You don't know, right?
Yeah.
You don't know what kind of history or what they want either, right?
Yeah.
But
So you've done some detecting in Europe there?
yeah, I was there last year. I was in Holland, Slovenia. Let's probably places Austria hunted.
Yeah, like there where they hunt those old battlegrounds there from the First and Second World War.
Oh yeah, my buddy found German skull ring, silver.
Yeah.
He had to give it to me as a gift later.
Yeah.
He watched my older videos I had when I was in Europe. So the history on those things are pretty,
Yeah.
and that's authentic soldier ring. It's not
Yeah.
like made up. Found in a field where all soldiers were marched all the way to Austria and they got slaughtered by all the, I guess, English and Americans came in there, but they were kind of more like surrendering already.
Yeah.
But they just, war is war, right?
Yeah.
So anyways, they ended up throwing their identity badges in the bushes or in lakes or rivers or whatever to hide who they are.
Yeah.
So and that's why the field, sometimes you might find 20 or 30 belt buckles in one hole.
Yeah.
Because they were scared of, they knew the war is close to being over, but you know how the last few days of the war, everybody's still hostile, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they want to become anonymous again.
Yeah. So there's a lot of history there. I plan to go back maybe to Europe next year.
Yeah, I've got some of that stuff too. I got like German stuff from the First World War and some stuff from the. I got like a German metal helmet there I bought as a teenager there. It's one of those camouflage ones there from the First World War.
Oh, okay, yeah. Is that American that one, or?
No, German. Yeah.
Oh, German. Okay.
Yeah. It's the ones that they hand painted the camouflage on there, so those are quite desirable.
But it's a German style, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And then I've got one of those spike helmets there.
Yeah, the big spike on top there.
It's got the original cover on it. So actually, when I was at this auction when I was a teenager, this steel helmet came up, so I bought that. So that same pickle hob they called it came up for auction. Then I didn't have enough money, so a guy bought it. So fast forward about 30 some years later, I was at another auction, and it was the estate of the guy that had bought that helmet, right? So then it came up for auction, so I had a second chance at it. So that time I got it there.
Huh, really? Yeah.
But that was up in Vernon, so that's a small place there. So.
There's a few big collectors in Vernon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know one guy, the school teacher, he sells, and he has a lot of mall spaces and stuff, right?
Yeah.
But this kind of area, Okanagan, like I say, there's just there's a lot of collectors that, like silent collectors,
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff here that wouldn't expect would be here.
Yeah, exactly. It seems like, stuff went from Vancouver to here, back and forth.
Yeah.
They lived in Vancouver, they moved to here, or somehow just stuff gets up here.
Yeah, like stuff, same as you, like you'll go to somebody's house to give them a quote on something like that, and then they'll bring you in, and then you'll see something there, and oh my God, what's that doing here?
Yeah, you don't know exactly what people have in their houses.
Yeah, and they typically don't tell anyone.
I remember going to States, and we'd be looking to dig bottles in people's yards, right, outhouses, and surprisingly, old timers, come on inside. We look at the living room, Civil War paintings, there were pictures and stuff, and that was my grandfather or my father or whoever is on there, but their homes are like museums.
Yeah.
Lawyers' bookcases and just really nice stuff, right?
Yeah.
Not like here, it's all kind of like garbage basically here. No, it's like IKEA, a lot of it, right?
Yeah.
The old history here is gone. No one really wants it no more.
Yeah.
You know, but there
That's-
it's like a museum in some of the homes.
Yeah, but then it's kind of sad though when those people pass and then their family just usually wants to get rid of the stuff.
Well, that's what happens. Usually just goes hits an auction or or who knows, in a dumpster.
Yeah. So, yeah, all the stuff you're hoarding today there.
Well, I kind of sold a lot of my collections. I sold my sign collection, most of my ginger beers went, my soda pop collection went, most of my really high-end stuff went. I think now in life I want to travel and do things and just be on a go type thing, right?
Yeah. I just, I always say that, I'm not buying any more stuff, and then you always run across, hey, that's kind of cool.
Oh, no, if I saw something, was cheap enough, was reasonable, but to me it's like the thrill of finding something.
Yeah.
Once you find something that you never found before, it's a thrill, and when the thrill's over, it's like, okay, well, I'll sell it.
Yeah, put it on the shelf.
Yeah, exactly, right. That's why, like, we do demolition, I do the inspections, because I'm kind of the first or second guy into the house.
Yeah.
And if the guy was a pack rat and they had the houses full, I can negotiate on the contents. Either give him a free inspection or, pay him some money or whatever, right? The option's always there. I found like signs and just everything you think of I found.
Yeah.
Like I can find better stuff in demolitions than garage sales.
Yeah.
Like garage sales, sure, people do score. They find cool stuff, but, they're out paying sometimes real good money for it, right?
Yeah.
When you're finding stuff in a whole accumulation of a demo and you're buying the whole house for $100 and you got $2,000-$3,000 worth of cool stuff, right?
Yeah.
Makes it more of a thrill, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that one you had that video of that one where you took those stairs down and everything.
Oh, that was a freaky one there.
Yeah,
I was thinking,
kind of felt sorry for that guy. He lived there all life. I think you said he lived there like 30, 40 years.
yeah,
Or something like that.
they actually both were old timers. They lived there.
Yeah.
One guy's a welder and he made all kinds of art and some of the stuff I got. He just made weird art stuff, but he was on a very, very top suite.
Yeah.
Then the guy in the mid suite that was there, they were both there for 30 to 35 to 40 years, right? And anyways, there was a freaky staircase, I'll tell you. And everybody says they're getting vertigo because when I kept looking down, just wanted to show people the effect of what I'm doing, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm dealing with a staircase that was put together by just nobody. It wasn't a carpenter. It was
off the street there.
yeah, it was slapped together. It was actually an iron worker put together.
Oh yeah.
Like the welder guy put it together actually, and it was. I'm just glad it went down good, right?
Yeah, because that suite was probably up 30-some feet there. Right?
Oh yeah, it was high. It was like 4 floors up there. Then you had the top half on there, and yeah, it was a tough one. But
I kind of visualized that guy going up and down those rickety stairs every day there.
every day. But he had $1 million view.
Yeah.
Even his front balcony was rotted in there. You could see it was all hanging there, the front balcony.
Yeah.
But anyways, that was some of the things you got to do in demolition, right? It's and I can't trust a worker doing it because if you screw something up, how do I rectify it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I had to safely do it myself, make them do all the, the packing and cleaning, but I had to physically do the dangerous stuff.
Yeah, that way if it goes wrong, you only got yourself to blame.
I know what to expect. They go wrong, they do something wrong and they get hurt or killed. I mean, anything can happen, right?
Yeah.
You just got to be careful. So.
Yeah, you don't have to fall from a very high height.
Yeah, you can break a limb or something and you could be injured for life, right? Yeah. So I just figured, the way the guy built it, I'll just take it apart and hopefully it goes good, and it did go good. And
yeah, that's pretty good. He worked way down from the top to the bottom.
And we stripped out maybe about 8 hours, that whole thing.
Yeah.
Because we did a two-take video, and that's cleaning upstairs, all the garbage you had tons of garbage in there.
Yeah.
And we cleaned that out. I took top shack off, but it ended up being like 8 or 9 hours total, like start to finish.
Yeah.
So it was good, really good actually.
Yeah, like I've worked a bit downtown in Vancouver and stuff like that, but to me it was always such a hassle to park.
Yeah.
Walk to your job. It's a job here that would take an hour. It would take you 3 hours down there.
Oh no, yeah. It takes you half an hour just to find a parking spot. And then you got to feed the meter maybe, and then you got to run back and forth. And
then God forbid you have to go to the supplier.
And then you worry about the druggies trying to break your windows, stealing your tools.
Oh, we have that up here too.
Yeah.
Actually, we had it in Kelowna. Our main office is in Kelowna, so we. You see those rescue? They're like a center punch, those spring-loaded center.
Oh yeah,
punches.
they smash windows with that.
Yes, the guys that have been buying them at Princess Auto there. They just
really?
go up to our vans and
yeah, it doesn't make no noise. It's like bang bang.
Yeah,
center punch. Yeah.
5 minutes have looted them, so.
Yeah, no, they should maybe put them behind a counter or something, but.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's just within the last 6 months. I think we had about 3 or 4 vehicles broken into that.
And the problem is your insurance never covers everything, right?
Yeah.
So even though if they covered everything, you're still losing fire and deductible or whatever.
Yeah, you start every claim you make next time around, your deductible starts creeping.
Oh yeah,
up, so.
and also you're paying more every year too, right?
So then it becomes a point. Well, it's not really worth claiming it because you're going to pay either way.
Yeah, you got your point exactly. You just gotta, have your tools locked in the back and maybe a separate toolbox bolted to the frame.
Yeah.
And that's about the best
Well,
you can do.
our guys supposed to take them out of the vans every night, take them inside. And even on the job sites, we have like the trailers that get broken into. So we have a locked trailer. Inside we'll have like a steel jaw box locked up. All you can do is slow them down.
Well, no, if they want to get in there, they'll get in there. Yeah, they're determined. And like I say, I had a few guys working for me where, you try to give a guy a chance, right?
Yeah.
When it comes to, scrapping, they could be the best worker around. When it comes to working by the hour, useless.
Yeah.
When it comes to scrapping, like the energy they have, the stuff they do is you couldn't believe it, right? Yeah. It's just how when they're determined to do something, pull out 25 cents and what normal guy wouldn't do, but they would, right?
Yeah.
I had one guy on my job site. I said, "What are you doing?" He says, "Well, my job is my job. So whatever scrap comes to me, whatever, it's my job, my contents, and my contract." I go in the guy's duffel bag. He's got like $100 of scrap metal in there. I go, "What are you doing?" "That's my scrap metal." "Well, I got my lunch break." I said, "So what?" Yeah. I mean, this is my contract, my job. If you get it for me, that's fine. You put it in this part of my contract, right? Yeah. So anyways, he got the drift and he got a little bitchy, and I said, "Well, it's the way it goes." Yeah. And then he ended up quitting, but it comes to I'm paying these guys good money, yeah, and then it's not on their work hour or lunch hour. They just say that, when you're paying these guys, $25 an hour, yeah, and then you got all these, and everybody else is doing the same thing, type of thing. You're losing 2-3 hours a day. Yeah. It all ends up a lot of money at the end, right?
Yeah, it all ends up.
Profit's gone. So, anyways. So we'll conclude this for now on this interview. It's been a pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, it was good meeting you too. Yeah.
So, okay, now what's your channel again?
Cruiser Mac.
Cruiser Mac on YouTube.
YouTube, yeah.
Hey, Jerry, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet
it's been
you,
a pleasure interviewing you, and nice to meet the other person on the other side.
Yeah, I think it's always great. You see the guys travel around, get to meet other guys there. And
yeah, well, cool. It's kind of it's like a big community, right? It keeps everybody together, and like we're scrappers that are legitimate scrappers, not like the guys out there stealing stuff. No, we get scrap wherever it comes, and it's honestly, and
it's kind of a bonus there when it comes your way.
Yeah, you get lucky sometimes. Like my scrap's mostly found in whatever I do in my jobs, or I do a lot of street scrapping. But I have people approach me to sell me scrap, but I prefer not to. That what I'm saying, because
well, it's funny. I was gonna call you earlier there, but then some guy forgot to lock the front door. Some guy shows up and he's got these weird DeVilbiss. There's some kind of a stroke pump there, and he's trying to sell me these things.
Best thing is the best. Because unless the people are really good and they're legit people, but when you buy something, you're in possession after, so it's not worth it, right?
Doesn't matter where it came from,
exactly. You're the one that ultimately trying to sell it later to get your money back. So the end result is, stay legit. Don't deal with these
the
guys.
chain of custody.
Exactly. Okay, buddy. Nice to meet you. You have a great day. Yeah. All the best to you. And anybody want to subscribe to his channel? It's called Cruiser Mac.
Yep.
He's got a good channel on there. A little bit of DIY, a little bit of everything in there, hunting, fishing. So check his channel. Give him support. Tell him you've seen him on my channel. This is Canadian Treasure. Have a great day. All the best. See you later.